marketing guy check on yeah, I tweeted it, linked it, put it in the meetup. Yeah, I talked about you. Make only in the ring, man. You should put some sensors. Oh. Yeah, like when you're doing some MMA stuff, that'd be kind of cool. Real time. People might actually come out for that one. You don't even have to give away pizza. But I mean, that's why Slice is in there. That was Pinot's marketing to put Slice in there.
Oh, it's all my responsibility.
You put Slice in there?
In the description.
No, this one in the title.
Yeah.
You were the Slice man?
Because I have like a pizza shop example.
Oh, that's right. I forgot about that. Oh, then it's okay. 2 uses makes sense.
Also, I have generated title for my presentation using the journey, and it has a pizza there. So 3 out of 3.
Oh, well, then we didn't have a choice. Okay. What I was going to ask for marketing, the entire department in the corner.
Yeah, this is us.
To check YouTube, make sure the audio is coming through. Because I haven't seen anyone pop up complain yet.
Yeah.
We got audio? Okay. Okay, your job has been solved. You can go home. No, he's got to take home the pizzas. Unless people take them. So you're at the meetup. If you have ideas for future talks, things you want to see, do you want workshops? Do you want it different times a day, different times a week, different locations? You can definitely just reach out or tell us today. I also have, hello. Let me get to this link. I'll go back to these other ones. I have the Slack that I'm using for the demo is also the Slack for the meetup group. So if you want to interact, or maybe we'll do that with another event, put your suggestions in there. They will get sucked up in here and then get pushed out through GenAI, which is silly, but I'll have to figure out, maybe I'll set up another group for that, another channel for that in Slack, but just for now. Yeah, if there's different things you want to see, do you want to see a workshop, different time of day, different location, reach out. I don't know, this is optimal. Clearly with 4 presidents in town, it's raining and there's a big holiday coming up. Maybe this wasn't the optimal time to suggest it. I'm very impressed. People are here. You are awesome people to come out. This is me. I run this meetup and the Princeton one and the Philly one. I prefer doing the Princeton one because I don't have to get on a train, but you tell me. We also have coming up a couple events in Princeton, one at the university, one outside. We're doing a big AI event with Startup Grind. But if you want to reach out to me, any of these places are good. Or again, that Slack channel is a good way to do that. Like I said, those are the 2 major ones. I try to federate the information between them. So if there's people virtual, you could always attend or see it later in YouTube. I do a weekly newsletter, covers a lot of stuff. You could subscribe or not subscribe. I keep a copy in GitHub, so you could just go there. You don't have to subscribe and get any kind of spam. Again, if you want to join the Slack, that is connected right to this demo. Obviously, when I turn off the demo, it's just going to be sitting in Slack, but it is live connected right now to it. So what I'm going to show you, my use case is not having to write code and being able to do things in a streaming manner against different models, different vector stores, a bunch of different use cases, the easy way, and that can be done fully open source, which is what I usually talk about. But I want to make sure people know if you're afraid to do these kind of things in production with pure open source, there are people who will support you with production level platforms. And I'll show you, we can pull in unstructured data, structured data, all different kinds of data, bring it in, stream it, send it to whatever model we need to send it to, and then have it processed very easily. And we're using all the stuff you expect to see, the closed models, the open models, most of the vector stores. I use Hugging Face in a lot of places. This is my new favorite place. Obviously, everyone knows Hugging Face, but there's a lot of good stuff there. A lot of great libraries, a lot of great models. I'm using a bunch of their models today. Just to show you what I'm doing, we're going to focus on the real-time data ingest and getting it to vector stores and models, getting it round-tripped, and then feeding it to other places, and show you how to do that within Flink SQL and within Apache NiFi with too many click-throughs. This is generally what we can do. Get whatever context we might need, and that could be from wherever it needs to be, hundreds of sources. Ingest this, all this codeless, clean it up, enrich it, transform it to the way it needs to be, including using whatever Python libraries you might need. And that could be binary data. I'll show you images, text, whatever it needs to be. Getting your prompts built and optimized, again, codeless. Getting whatever context out of, Pinecone, Chrome, or whatever, and have it round trip so you can even do this as your interface. So again, I'm using Slack as my input and Slack as my output. Makes it very easy. Obviously, I could push this to any other kind of front end you would want, but to do that with no code, pretty nice. The main project to do this is NiFi. It's been around for a while. One of the features that has proven very helpful when you're trying to build out these generative AI systems is to be able to know what's happening. Obviously, there is a lot of systems here. I could be calling Hugging Face, where am I in my application run? It can go through a lot of steps, a lot of different systems. NiFi has provenance, a data lineage of everything that happens, so I can easily track what's going on, see, oh, what did I do wrong? Oh, I forgot something. It should have been JSON, I sent text. Those kind of things, very helpful for tracking what's going on or keeping a permanent record of everything that happened. And to be able to work with whatever data you want. Again, all this for codeless. So if your data is in any of these formats, regardless of the schema, what it looks like, doesn't matter if it changes. I don't have to write any code. I don't have to pre-build and type in all the fields, and then someone changed the name of a field and things start breaking. Don't have to worry about that. And with the same system, I could work with all kinds of unstructured data, whether it be TARD files, images, videos, any kind of weird document format, all kind of social chat, all those kind of formats, extract them in the format you need, usually text, put them in a vector store, use them just as a text in a context, or just store it somewhere, or send it to different types of models, whatever you need to do, and interact with most of the major services there. I forgot to add, I'm also working with Olama. So if you want to keep everything local, especially you're doing development, same thing. Lots of different places we can call, whether it's in the cloud or locally. Pretty easy. The most exciting thing is the new features we have in the new version of NiFi. This is running on the latest JDK, so performance is pretty amazing. And we've added full Python support, so I can drop in any little Python apps I need to do processing. And I'm writing these like, it's just like writing regular Python code. I drop it in a directory, and now it becomes scalable out to 1,000 servers and has all the lineage, provenance, management, and security and governance and all those things that you need in an enterprise app. I've got one example using Google's Gemma models. I've got some with using Pinecone or Chroma in it. The usual thing I do is grab the documents from wherever they are, S3 bucket on your file, parse them, chunk them up, get them in the vector store, maybe also store that in a different format somewhere else, maybe a database, maybe S3, maybe push chunks to Slack, or get appropriate sized formatted chunks in JSON into Kafka to share this with other platforms. That could automatically be injected into Pinot or somewhere else, wherever you want to go once you're in Kafka. The Python processors, I've got one to extract out company names. This is helpful because it's part of my flows. If someone asks me, what's the current stock price for Amazon? I'm not going to call an LLM for that. I'll parse out the company name for your question. I have a routine that will grab their stock symbol and then call another system to get their current stock price. Again, if there's another part of that question that should be enhanced with LLM, we could do that. Marketing in the back. Here's a stupid answer. I don't think so. Prompt, I don't know. It could be. I mean, to me, it's prompt. Yeah, it's LLM avoidance. So I just saved $72. You know, for someone to ask a dumb question and get back not what they want, which is more important. But prompt, more of should I use an LLM question? Prompt routing. Yeah, you think of some good marketing term, or just type it into ChatGPT. It'll give you one. Call Watson. They have an SDK. This one I added, and I'll show you that in the demo. There was a good Salesforce model to add image captioning pretty quickly. So this one looks at your image, throws some captions in it. That's nice for me. I was thinking at the end of the meetup, if you take a picture, we could upload it in Slack, and this will pull it in, add a caption to it. I also got one that will find objects in there like, oh, look, people. Very, very exciting. But to do that automated, you just put it into Slack, all this happens. And this is the one that puts the nice little squares in there. Oh, here's a person, a TV, you know, whatever that small data set is. This one I figured is more important if I'm letting everyone upload images. I've found on Hugging Face a model that detects things I don't want being posted on the Slack group. Because this has happened in the past. You give people open access to something. Besides trying to Bitcoin mine, they might try to send inappropriate pictures. This will find it, and I put it to the side. And then I'm going to add to that workflow where you get banned. You know, you shouldn't be doing that. I also have another one elsewhere that does that for text. Find your facial emotions. So I'll know, okay, don't do this topic. Everyone looked sad or tired or bored. We'll just avoid doing that topic. Flink SQL is pretty cool because I could do SQL on real-time data like Kafka, live sensors, whatever is real-time. And we can integrate with a model. So I tried this out, and I share this in the demo. While messages are coming through Kafka, I can send that against different models in different hosting environments and get back results and put that in my SQL. So I could do calls against an LLM through either directly through something like Cloudera machine learning, or I could have called Hugging Face directly, or Watson XAI, or OpenAI. Those require a little bit more processing. And I also added, in case I don't want to do anything, I have NiFi act as my interface to do the prompt engineering and cleanup and enrichment. So in case you send me junk, you know, I don't just send that to the model. I'll parse it out before it goes there. And then also you could make decisions on, do I want to just grab it from a vector store, another database, or some cache, as opposed to calling the model again. You know, especially when I'm doing stuff in streaming, if I'm making millions of calls, I probably should be caching that or avoiding calling these models, even if they are local, as much as possible. Obviously, that's heavyweight. That's a lot of horsepower to do that. But really, this is how I call it. I send the text to that function. The function is defined previously and calls the model. This one calls the Cloudera one. The other one calls the one that I'm hosting in NiFi. And what's nice when you do this, when I write these queries, they work on the data in real time as those events occur. But for people who are working with like something like a Jupyter notebook or a front end, you don't really deal with streaming data and you don't want to subscribe to a Kafka topic. So the Flink tool will produce a REST endpoint that produces JSON of the most current data in the system so that you can query it very easily with pandas or anything else. And then you could use it for your analytics. And obviously, if you're doing something like a Jupyter notebook, you're not expecting, instant events. Maybe you're looking at data from 2 minutes ago, 5 minutes ago, whatever's near enough for you. I mean, you can consume Kafka from a Jupyter notebook, but it's a little, yeah. And usually that doesn't make sense for a data scientist who doesn't want to do that. Maybe they even want to see an aggregate. Like that's the thing we could do with the Flink SQL is do aggregates. Maybe I just want to see how many people asked the same question, maybe how many tokens it took because I have that in the metadata, and just give aggregates. They go to data scientists, they could do all their science and analytics there and have fun there. And then maybe they could decide, what should the data do later? And we'll just push that further down the chain. We could push it up into NiFi or into Flink or into Kafka. This is how we create a table in Flink. And what's nice is the tool will infer a Flink table by just looking at a Kafka topic based on the fields in there, whether it's JSON or Avro. That's helpful so I don't have to manually type out these tables. Kafka, we got the Kafka guy here, so I'm not going to go into it, other than I got to take a picture at the Kafka Museum in Prague wearing my Kafka shirt. Kafka's cool. That is the way,
I have the same picture.
You got that picture?
Yeah, I'll find it.
Okay, we got to post that on that. Why is that not the meetup title, man? That'd be cool. We have a tool to do replication, so Kafka's cool. I tend to use it as a way to get data to share it with someone because it's never just one person wants this data. Someone else wants it, and to be able to get it to them instantly, no matter how many different consumers, whether it's Pinot consuming it, NiFi, Spark, Flink, Python, Java, Rust, Scala. There's a ton of different tools out there. So once I get it into Kafka, everyone can get access to it. For us, we also like to stream that into Iceberg. So you've got an open data lake of, massive amount of data with some cool features like time travel and things that we really should have had 4 or 5 years ago in the big data space. But, what are you going to do? Iceberg is cool, and they generate pretty good things in GenAI. I like those. They put some good stuff in there. And we've got a pre-built component that'll just stream your Kafka to Iceberg. We also have one that streams it right from like a Debezium source to Iceberg as CDC. If you don't know what Debezium is, it's for CDC, change data capture from databases. So you can have an Oracle database, stream it right into Iceberg, and get them in sync without having to write any code, which is kind of nice. And we've got a full data lake there with all kinds of security and stuff. And we could do that directly from Flink if we wanted, or we could do it from NiFi, whatever makes sense for you. But let's show code and not slides. All the slides are available. The one thing I wanted to mention is all the demo I'm doing is on these 2 Docker sets. One has Flink and Kafka. The other one has NiFi. And that's all I need to be able to do the demo and access to a model, whether that's Olama or Hugging Face. Those are external. Yeah. I mean, you're just downloading a Docker, compose file. It's not, we're not giving away the $1 million there, but it works pretty well. And that's literally what we're doing for the demo. It's all running on my laptop now, other than services that are external like Slack, Hugging Face. Those are external. Let's see the chance that everything in the world didn't time out while I'm doing that. I think everything in the world timed out. Let's see. Maybe not. Okay. So this is NiFi. I'm going to show you how we get this started. So I have a Slack group here that I sent you the invite to. Again, that's why I have those filters on there. So you can ask questions here. Maybe I'll set up another one if you want to set up ones you don't want generative AI answering. Like if you go, hey, can you move the meetups to Tuesday? You'll get an answer. I'm curious what it is. I'm not going to ask that question because I'm sure it's going to be nonsense. But one time I asked a question, what is the country that Tim Spann founded? And it created Timistan, which was really cool. Then they removed that from their model. I was very upset. I had a country, then lost it, which is the worst. What about all our minutes of culture we lost? Okay, so we type in something into the Slack group, and setting up a Slack bot is super easy. So I have that documented in a article, but what happens here is I have a NiFi flow that listens for Slack messages. This is a new API Slack added, and you make a call out and you get WebSockets. It's really nice. Gives you everything that happens in there that you've set up in your permissions. So I can get that message, and then I'm going to process everything out of there. Make sure it's not me doing it, not the results of the bot, because I've accidentally done that, then got stuck in a loop where, you know, LLM is calling LLM with the results of the previous LLM, and it just keeps adding to it. So I parse it out. Here I'm calling a Hugging Face model to make sure there's no New Jersey speak in the text there. And then we get through that, parse that out, and then again, the prompt engineering part. Then I query against my Pinecone database. I'm not running this locally. I have a free Pinecone account. Then I'm parsing out the text, getting the fields I want. Ooh, someone stopped that. The thing with NiFi is you never lose data. So I can start and stop any piece of a process real time, whether through the UI, through the command line, or through a REST endpoint, or through something like Terraform. So I stopped it. There's a configurable queue between every step. So we never lose data. And if there's a back pressure event occurs, it just stops it up the chain. It makes it nice, but if you forget and stop something like I just did, it's just that last call didn't go anywhere. Now, I have a lot of different models I could send this to in a lot of different places. Someone was dumb enough to lend me their ChatGPT account. So I can call there. I tend not to call that because, you call them, it's $1 a call. Hugging Face is usually free, so I usually use that. I also sometimes run Olama on my machine. If you haven't seen Olama, you could run some serious models on a laptop pretty well. They're actually not bad. What I'm using now is my flavor of the week model that I like is Mixtral 8.7b, the Instruct one. This is using the new experts model, which is kind of cool mixture of experts. It sounds very advanced, so I like that. The results are pretty good. They're better than Google Gemma, not Gemini. Not as good as OpenAI Chat GPT-4, but still pretty good. So I call that model with that input from the Slack plus some context from Pinecone. I fed all of my slides and all of my articles into Pinecone as a local context for questions about this meetup group. So hopefully you ask a question, it should be better than the generic one because we've augmented it with a context from, local content. And then it goes through all this nonsense and then we send it back to Slack. What's nice is because we included the timestamp, it connects to your question. So it comes in a result here. Now I put a lot of metadata in there, so I know which model I'm using, when I called it, who called it, how many tokens it took, how many characters, how long it took, just how to do it. This pulled this right from one of my presentations, Apache NiFi, most active communities, blah, blah, blah. So it'll do that. The other thing I have set up is one that deals with images. So I can grab an image. This is coming from Zoom. So if I look at here, there's a lag that's a little painful. So let me pick an image from one of the previous meetups oh no, I was in Brazil here. This was cool. So I'll upload a picture like at the end of this meetup. If my marketing guy's not taking a nap, he might have a couple of pictures. I might upload them. I'm always picking on him. He's a cool guy. So when it's done, it will send the results to a Slack channel, and it'll give me analytics of what's going on there. Plus, if I didn't shut that down, it'll send me the image as well. As we saw here with the previous one I uploaded, it did the analytics on the cat. Oh, I think let's see if we turn that off. But it's pretty straightforward to do all this. Again, my thought is to make the meetup more responsive. So if you have a question, obviously I'm watching my Slack group as well. So if it does a bad job, I'm trying to figure out how I should rank the answers. Like if you reply and say, that didn't help, maybe I'll parse that or have a keyword and send that as a internal message to me to say, hey, this is the question. The LLM didn't do a good job answering it. Maybe you could do slightly better, and then get back to you in, in human time and tell you the results there. Let's see. Me in my pajamas. I don't think I'm wearing pajamas. You saw this picture, right? Does this look like pajamas? I don't know. Not the best. Okay, it is a suit that has Pac-Man on it, though. I guess that's if it would have said Tim is wearing a suit with Pac-Man on it, then I know that's the top model. I keep trying new models. When I get a model that tells me what I'm wearing and says, oh, Tim bought this from this time from Amazon, then I'm like, ooh, we got to close down some data sources. But so far, it figured out who I was. So, I mean, I guess that's okay. It's not the worst thing. Well, we'll see when I upload the rest for the next one. Do we have any questions before I switch over to our second talk? Make sure your Zoom works. We'll have him check that while we get through this last bit. Again, this is all being recorded, and it is being streamed on Zoom and streamed in YouTube. So there'll be multiple recordings. Maybe one of them is okay. And the slides are posted with all the code. So if you missed something, you came in late, it's all available to take a look at. Does anyone have a question or an idea like we mentioned before? Hey, can we move these to Tuesday? Can we do them during the day? Can we do them in Jersey? All those kind of things. If you say Brooklyn, I don't have anything in Brooklyn. If you got someplace really awesome in Brooklyn, we'll send marketing there. You'll like Brooklyn. Any questions? Besides, who wants? If you ask a question, you got to take a